Man, I'll tell you, this year felt longer than any other year. And like most years seem like they fly by. And for sure, the last 10 weeks, like once you get to the playoffs, those last 10 weeks fly by. Like so much of your week is just consumed. But like when I sit here and think about like 2021 season, and I think back to winning the duel, like that feels like 3 years ago to me. I think it's just because so much gets done and accomplished in, you know, that 10-month window. Racing, you're a business partner for sponsors, you're trying to be a husband and a dad, and I'm trying to do all the other things, and it's just like it feels so distant. And maybe that's just because my memory's getting worse the older I get and the more gray hair I get. But then we went into the grind.
Then you went into the grind.
And I feel like that added to the year feeling so long. From a performance standpoint and just luck. I mean, just so much bad luck and things happening. It just felt like a long year. It felt like such a grind. Like every week was like, all right, come on. This is going to be a better week. It's got to be. It can't get worse. And then it would get worse.
No, I don't know. It's just how our year's gone. It's been a horrible year. We've had nothing but bad luck, and it's I'm ready for it to turn around.
But I just kept holding on to hope. Like we're too good of a race team, and to keep getting beat down, right? Like eventually we're gonna come out of this. You know, finally we went to Nashville, and it was like, yes, like something good has happened. We qualified on the pole, and we ran up in the top 5 all day, and it just felt good. And it was like a kickstart.
To bounce back, the All-Star race was a good weekend for us, and we're finally starting to see some positive momentum.
To, you know, the next handful of races was like, all right, let's put all that behind us. All the bad races, all the bad luck, all the stuff. Put that behind us, and let's just keep focusing on building on this. After Nashville, we went to Loudon and had an awesome car, won the race, and it was like, yes, like we went from the lowest of lows for the season and just feeling like we were living in the valley to within a couple weeks we were on the mountaintop.
Aric Almirola with the upset at New Hampshire.
Yes, yes, yes! Hell yeah! Here we are, boys! Yes!
It's so easy to negative talk yourself, and especially when the whole world you feel like is watching you, right? We got millions of people tune into NASCAR races each and every weekend, and you feel like that you are only as good as your result. I don't know that I have like a everyday routine that helps me like combat just the grind, but I will say just the longevity, the runway of faith that I have, right? Like it's a journey. It's not a snap your fingers overnight thing. It's a journey for me. It's been going on for 10 or 12 years of strengthening my faith, and that has molded and shaped not only who I am as a person, but just my beliefs and my outlook on life. And there's a lot of things that are completely out of our control, and I've just come to grips with that. And I've also realized that most of the things, well, not most, all of the things on this earth are temporary. The highs are temporary, the lows are temporary, the pain is temporary. Yeah, it's all temporary.
You're studying film, you're doing competition meetings, you drive all the way to Darlington with no qualifying or practice, and then you
run 12 laps.
Maybe 12 laps.
Maybe not even 10.
You
maybe
had a rocket ship of a car.
Yeah.
There was one thing you said. You said God is just testing me right now.
Everybody that helps us deserves so much better. We're so much more capable, but we just, God is really testing us this year. Thanks, Aric.
Me personally, I did feel some testing from God this year with the lack of performance, and I just felt like for a lot of my time at SHR, it was kind of going as expected, right? Like, we were competitive, leading laps, running up front. I was hoping to win more races, let races get away from us. But I felt like, the first few years at SHR, I could have won several races. I felt like I got tested because the performance wasn't there. Home life has been amazing, rock solid. And professionally, it was just struggling, and I had to figure out how to navigate that and kind of balance home life, balance work life, not bring crappy work home to awesome home life and mess up that, and like just figure out how to really juggle that. And I felt like I went through a lot of spiritual growth this year because of having to figure out how to persevere through a lot of the suckiness of the beginning part of this year. Such a weird year just to not have the consistency, and that's one thing my entire Cup career, even when I was at Petty's, I feel like I have always been consistent. Like, if I had 15th place cars, I finished 15th with them. Qualifying was tough to not have it, right? Like, but not only that, you get a bad pit selection. So you might have a great car, but now you're coming down pit road and you're around two other cars that are running in the top 10. You're getting boxed in, or your pit crew guys are getting sideswiped or run really close to, and so it slows them down on the pit stop, and it's just not ideal. And so last week doesn't really matter. You can kind of reset and start over that next week, where this year, with no qualifying, last week's bad performance carried over in some ways into that next week. Even if you had a good car, you were still on more of an uphill battle than you would have been if you had practice in qualifying. Sometimes you just gotta call a spade, and this year was just an off year for us. And our sport is cyclical like that sometimes. Next year's a new year, and we've been working really, really hard on this next gen car, and we want to get back to where we know we're capable of.